This is the RSN Sports Network. 2020 Sports Update. This 2020 Sports Update brought to you by Evermore Water. Evermore Water, more better water. I'm Michael Lewis. In the NFL Week 4, it is the game overseas in London town. It has ended. A 61-yard attempt field goal by Will Lutz was wide left, and the Minnesota Vikings defeated the New Orleans Saints in London early this morning by a score 28-25. Games that are going on now early. It is the Los Angeles Chargers leading the Houston Texans 14-0, 2 touchdowns by Justin Hebert in this one. In other games of note, in the first quarter as well, the Falcons leading the Browns 10-0. The Titans over the Colts 14-0. The Cowboys are leading the Commanders 6-0. The Jaguars are leading the Eagles 14-0 in a shocker. Trevor Lawrence 2 touchdowns. Seahawks over the Lions 14-6. Ravens over the Bills 17-3, and Jets over the Steelers. Tonight, it is Mahomes of Brady, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City. That's your 2020 Sports Update. I'm Michael Lewis. This is the RSN Sports Network. The following is an RSN Sports Network RTV television presentation. This is KRBH-FM, KRTV. You can listen to this sports program on StreamYard, live stream, and on Podbean. You're listening to the Sports Zone on the RSN Sports Network and RTV television with the sports fan, Michael Lewis, Marcus Mr. T. Turner, and Larissa Manciaz. Get in and talk now at 1-800-337-7171 or 1-713-534-4231 in Texas or 1-415-333-TLK. Now, from Points Abroad, here is the sports fan, Mr. T and Larissa. Thank you very much for joining us on this special edition of the Sports Zone right here on the RSN Sports Network and RTV television. I'm your truly sports fan, Michael Lewis, with 1-800-337-7171 or 1-713-534-4231. A little bit early today. There's a lot of stuff that we'd like to talk about as well. And, you know, and Marcus Mr. G. Turner will join me in about a few minutes as well. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. If you'd like to, you'd like to talk sports with us, or you'd like to see something that you want to see on the air as well, get with us as well. And you can go to the Sports Zone 7 on Twitter, the Sports Zone 7 on Twitter as well. You can get with us then. And talk sports with us as well. Anything you want to talk about as well. Today we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be really a very big thing as well. And also, if you want to talk with us as well, you can also do it on StreamYard. You can also do it on the StreamYard app, or you can also on the StreamYard streaming on it, and you can follow us on RTV television, and you also do it on Podbean as well. You can also get your comments on Podbean as well. Don't forget, you can also, and like I said, you can always follow us on YouTube on RTV television as well. going forward. Don't forget this part of our show, our actual um, our actual sports zone takes. Zone Takes is brought to you by Evermore, Evermore Water, more better water, www.evermore.com, www.evermore.com. All right. All right. So let's just go with this. Marcus is going to join me in a few minutes with this, be on the show in a few minutes. Um, let's talk about this. You know, we all have the situation regarding the early games, and we know the early games. NFL has had early games so far, and it has been, it's been one of those times where you have those games where they go over in London, and they play in London town as well. Um, I think the really big thing is that you got to look at it from every single angle. That for some reason or other, the NFL has had a lot of their the NFL has had a lot of situations where they played in London. They played 2 games. Now they're playing 3 games in London. Next week they'll play one early, and then they'll play the last one on the 25th. The NFL is trying to get a uh, the NFL is trying to get a actual something where they bring a lot of people in, a lot of games in to Wembley Stadium. I think they changed the name of the stadium as well. So, they can have a little bit more of a little bit more of a get together as far as what they're going to do with partnering with NFL Europe as well. So it has been a pretty good role of it as well. I think the early games so far have been entertaining. I want to say the Vikings dodged the bullet from Will Lutz. He wasn't. If he hadn't been a Justin Tucker, then it would have been a different story. But the Vikings dodged the bullet. They won over there in London by a score of 28-25. Kirk Cousins had a touchdown as well. Um, Kirk Cousins had a touchdown as well. Dalvin Cook at 78 yards, but Justin Jefferson, 10 receptions, not a touchdown though, 147 yards. Andy Dalton didn't look too bad, 10 or 20 or 28 for 238 and a touchdown. And Latavius Murray, a touchdown, 57 yards and a touchdown for the Saints. But the Saints now fall to 1-3, and the Saints now fall to 1-3, and the Vikings now go to 3-1. So that that would have been a close call. That would have been a total close call as well. So I mean, we can go over the early games as well because the meat and potatoes of this show. I'll wait on Marcus to come in and let us discuss this as well. I look at it from a standpoint. It's like the early games are the early games, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really shocked on the early games. I really am not. I think the really big thing about the early games is what I see so far out of the early games is that Jacksonville is not a team that I think Doug Peterson being there may have been the the answer. I mean, the Jaguars, even though they're leading the Eagles 14-7, there's something that Doug Peterson had to prove, and and Austin Eckler just ran up the middle for a touchdown in Houston. So now the Chargers are getting ready to make an extra point and lead that game in Houston 21-0. as well. But that's no game that I was really actually even surprised with. Um, I think the Jaguars are going to be pretty much. They could really win the AFC South if it comes down to them and the Colts and the Titans. It could be a three-team race there. I don't see the Texans making any wavelengths, but then this is 4 games into the season, so we can only see. The Seahawks game has been pretty nip and tuck. Geno Smith has done a pretty good job in Detroit. No, but don't count the Lions out. They're very hungry. The Jets leading the Steelers is, here's the thing. I'm really concerned about Mitch Trubisky being in a Steeler uniform. I think this is the Pickett era. It has to be Pickett. It has to be Pickett era because Kenny Pickett he has to start at some point in time. Hopefully, uh, hopefully Mike Tomlin will get to that point of getting him on the air. I mean, getting him on the air, of getting him under the center because Kenny Pickett looked so great in the preseason as well. All right, so let's go with some more scores. I mean, Commanders Cowboys always a wild game. The Cowboys have only gone twice down the field and kicked 2 field goals, but now the Commanders are in the red zone. Um, I would be surprised if the Commanders pull this one out. Like I said, you never know what Dallas Cowboy team you're going to see the next week. You know Michael Gallup's back, but it's early. So Dak's not back, but Cooper Rush has done a great job for them. Ravens are leading the Bills 17-3. Ravens are Ravens, but when Lamar is playing well, but the Bills, there are some concerns with them after they got deflated by Cincinnati. There are some concerns with them as well, but we can only see. The Ravens are driving again, but this is the Bills are a second half team as well. Bears, Giants look like they could be maybe a contender in the East as well. We can only see there. It's 7-6. The Giants leading that ball game. All right, we got my man Marcus Turner, Mr. T in the hizzy, going over some of the early games as well. Your Ravens are stomping people as usual. He froze a little bit. Got him frozen a little bit. Hopefully we get him back. Oh, okay, got him back. Your Ravens are blowing people out, but and the tragedy here in Houston has already started. The Texans down 21-0. What other games have you saw that have been really interesting?
Well, the Saints and the Vikings that's the only game I had to check out today. So that I had picked the Saints to win that game, but they was out without Kamara and Winston. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know. I'm like I was just saying just a few minutes ago, I'm thinking the Jacksonville Jaguars could win the AFC South. And
have you changed?
They could. I mean, really, they're leading the Eagles right now 14-7. But you never know. You never know. The Ravens are leading the Bills 17-3, but the Bills are doing Bill things. They try to come back.
Well, in that Ravens secondary, their Ravens defense is horrible.
Yeah,
it's not horrible. It's just not playing up to where they should be playing.
And the Titans are leading the coach. So I'll be surprised if the Titans and the Jaguars in the AFC South sling it till the end because the Colts, it's a lot. It's a lot to be desired for the Colts right now. They're up and down. And if Jonathan Taylor doesn't do anything, it's just kind of like,
it's still early. It's still adjustments need to be made.
It's adjustment. To me, I think it's 8, 9 weeks, as I said, 8 or 9 weeks, 8 week or 9 week of the season. Then that's a telltale of everything.
Yeah, that's
Eighth
what
or
I'm
ninth,
saying.
8th or 9th week of the season.
When teams start having their buys and they're fighting through the early
Right,
injuries and things like that,
right, right,
that's that's when you start telling. You know.
right, right. I, you know, I'm gonna be upfront and honest with you. To me, I said this much more. Whoever has only 2 losses today, to this point, whoever only has 2 losses, by the time you get to the 9th week of the season, I think they may be either Super Bowl bound or the NFC Championship bound. Now, if you got 4, maybe 3 losses, yeah, you might be a 4, 5, 3 seed, but it's too early. It's too early.
I always look at it who's about 2 games above 500 in the midway part, in the midway season.
Yeah,
Because
true.
that'll tell when, if they're going in a good direction. Like, because you're going to have some early season losses you're not supposed to lose.
The games you want to lose.
Yeah, a field goal here, fumble here, turnover on your way to a winning drive.
Right.
But like the mid-season part, that's when people start gelling and they start, getting their identity as their running team, passing team, play action, or we just build up defense. So, by that midway point, 8th, 9th week, when everybody start getting their buys in and out the way, that's when you can start telling who's really contending. Of course, it's going to be some team that just get hot and get all the breaks like the Bengals did last year, and they just start getting these breaks at the end of the year.
Right. Right.
Either they win little fluke games or whatever. It's always one team like that during the season that you didn't expect to do well. Like I said, it might be Jacksonville. Pick Jacksonville. It might be.
Let me just get you caught up on something that just happened at Houston here I call it Loserville unless you're the Astros. But at Houston, Damian Pierce, the actual rookie running back sensation for them, just ran a touchdown, 75 yards, and now Kimmy Fairbairn just made the extra point, and the Chargers still lead that one 21-7 in Houston. Davis Mills has been taken out of the game by Lovie Smith, and Jeff Driscoll is involved. Unbelievable things happen, but people.
Well, that's your guy.
That's your guy. I mean, you said.
I mean, I think
he was going to be the MVP of the NFL. So.
I mean, I think they should go after somebody like Jordy Love, somebody like that, and give them a chance. A quarterback that's already got some NFL experience, and give them a chance.
They should have went when they had a chance. They should have went for the guy that's from their area, that grew up in their area in Katy, just west of Houston, and they should have went for Dalton when he was actually released from Chicago. I did just for me. I would have thought that Andy Dalton would have fit that.
Well, that was an upper management call because they want Mills to be the guy, and like they say, I just think he's an adequate backup and he's a person that can come in and fill in for a couple of games. Once he learned the game, he's still learning the game. So I think
he's not really a guy that you really want to say that. Yeah, he he can be.
Yeah, you have to build a team around him because nothing he does really stands out. Like his arm strength, he's not that mobile. He doesn't have anything that make you say, "Wow, okay, this is a guy we can build around." Like the other teams have good young quarterbacks, And I know they're in the Bryce Young and sweepstakes, and if knowing Houston, if they want Bryce Young,
they probably are. And why would you want to go from Davis Mills to? Well, let's go to the next topic. Glad you said Bryce Young because he'll be back in 2 weeks. He was injured. And as we know, Alabama has produced some great quarterbacks in the last 5-10 years. But this one, well, a little different. As you probably know, Tua Tagovailoa has had a big injury card. As you know, his injury card has been very big. You know, this is his card from Alabama from 2018 till when he dislocated or actually fractured his hip against Mississippi State, came back and became the guy that the Miami Dolphins wanted for their first pick in the draft. Probably he was up under the Brian Flores situation and all the other stuff. And led a few players from being gone from there. Devontae Parker and now Will Fuller have been like, well, now, as you know, let's rerun his back. He threw for 6 touchdowns in a win at Miami 3 weeks ago. Got into a great game with the AFC champions, the guys who win the AFC championship game, the Buffalo Bills. And on one of the plays looked like what he did on Thursday night in a loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. Concussion. The NFL is now possibly facing a trial. With this being said, Tua Tagovailoa says, I feel fine. I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. Shed some light on this.
You got to understand, he's in his early 20s, so he think he's Superman. So it's one of those situations where he had to get the right people around him to not only get him to think about today. The immediate future, but his future in the end, how his life will end after football. Because now he thinks he can take on the world. Mm-hmm. So, I would sit him out as long as possible because we have to see where it's going with his health, especially with the concussions. He have to understand, football is just a small portion of his life. Because even with him playing last week, he did have some say to that. Mm-hmm. And they should have just, overruled him because it was only a 4 days in between when he really got hurt that Sunday. So They should have set him out regardless. If he's their franchise quarterback, we're going to sit you out for a few games. We're just going to see how you react, because that play on Sunday did not look good at all. He was staggering, and then for him to come back, that does cause them to question their medical staff and their coaching. Do we need this one win that much to put him back in the game? No. We'll sit him out. We got a veteran
Bridgewater. Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I would have said, Bridgewater, let him play that game, let Tua sit out, because you bring him back against the Cincinnati defense is relentless on the front line. And Randy Gregory was after, the ex-Cowboy was after Tua pretty much all game.
Yeah, and they were desperate for a win too. So their defense was going to play hard and do whatever they had to do to try to get to the quarterback. Yeah. And the Dolphins didn't protect him too well. And like I say, depending on how his brain was, he maybe wasn't able to pick up certain things to protect himself with the pass blocking or whatever, calling the right plays to protect himself. So you don't know what was going on in that game. I know as a coach, I would have set him out and let Bridgewater go because it was just 4 days before he was staggering on the field. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't. Excuse me. I just don't see where you would actually, because I've had concussions before. I've had 2, and one sports related, one non-sports related, and I can tell you right now, it's just kind of like I can't have 3 or 4, and I look at it from the standpoint, CTE, when you are a young guy, you think, yeah, I'm Superman, and you turn around like you're at 40 or 45, then you become like Jim McMahon. Your head fogged, you're always in a doctor, and then your brain is starting to accelerate, thoughts of rage, anger, blah 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 blah, and you have anxiety, and it's even worse. And then you may end up doing what Dave Jurison did, or what Junior Seau did. A couple of the players did. It's almost kind of like guys were. I remember there was a guy who played for the 49ers. He had a concussion, and he ended it. We were thinking he was going to be the linebacker of the future back in the day when we had Kaepernick and we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he actually retired at 28. And the next year, he was just a rookie. The NFL has to do a lot of, a lot of people think this is more like of a brand of, this is kind of like a PR move by the NFL. No, they didn't get these little funny looking, squirmy looking, sponge helmets for practice so they can protect these guys' heads, before their game on Sunday, Thursday, whenever it is, and, later on in the year, Saturday.
But if you hear a lot of ex-players, they'll tell you it's not just the hits they took in the NFL. It's the accumulation of hits they took from Little League, junior high, and high school. Because I think it was SAP said after 18 years or something, that's when it starts showing up. That CT.
Right, and I think that to me that is really the sad part about it. I just think that's the total sad part about it. I think when they go to from Pop Warner all the way to high school, college, and it depends on if you were a starter, even if you were training as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old for football.
Yeah, that's why I'm so against that little tackle youth league stuff, because I be seeing it. I seen a hit a kid this week. Like, it's not that serious. Like, put them in flag football or something like that, because their body is still growing, and their brain, they're just to be able to take hits is just hard on their bodies at 5, 6, 7, 8. So, I always, if a parent asks me, I always say around the 6th grade, when they get about 12, 13, when they start to really develop, that's when I'll put them into some tackle football. But before that, I would have them working out, doing little skill drills or whatever, touch, 7-on-7 and stuff like that. But that early age football, that's just too much for me. I don't, support it, but I wouldn't put my kid in it.
Hopefully the NFL can improve on this and see this as a wake-up call, because now there's a possibility the FBI is going to look into this, and for what reason, I don't know. But the actual,
what would their role be? Because at the end of the day, it was his call. It was like, "Are you okay? Are you ready to play? Can you play?" Yeah.
That's the same doctor. That's the same doctor that Serena Venus and the management group from the Dolphins, who he wasn't really actually with the team or associated with the team, they fired him, so they let him go.
Well, they are owners of that team too. I don't know if they're still owners. I know at one point they was owners, part owners on that team. So.
They still are.
Yeah,
they still are. All right, you probably know this. We know this. You know this, and we know everything. This is why we were on early. As you probably know, there is a lot of situations with racism in the coaching, racism in the sports and the sports coaching world. And as you probably know, not only is it spreading through the NFL, but also the NBA. The recent firing of Ime Udoka, and also which possibly may have led to the split up of him, and also legendary actress Nia Long. The possibility may loom also that Mike Tomlin has probably become one of the most prolifically winningest African-American head coaches since 2000, since he actually took over the Steelers. And we talked about this as well, there's only just him, Lovie Smith, who's with the Texans, and Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay. And that's pretty much
They do consider the Dolphins coach black too, bro.
Well, McDaniel is, man, yeah. But the racism in the coaching, when we talked about this, we know for a fact is that there is a for some reason or another, we know that this will never change. We had the Denny Greens, we had the success of Tony Dungy winning a Super Bowl with the Colts. We had, excuse me, we had the success, but we had decent success. It really wasn't that much success. With Mike Singletary at San Francisco, we've also had, um, we also had successes with Lovey when he was with Chicago, and he had the first ever African American Super Bowl between him and Tony Dungy. Um, but this has been just a lack of. I mean, David Culley used to be with the Ravens and on their staff was brought down to Houston for what? To be with a bad team where D Watt was before the panty raid.
Well, I think that was a PR move.
It was a PR move. To say, oh, give me a year and see how you do with a bad team. D Watt doesn't want to play, so let me give you this quarterback who's never played but 10 games in his whole life, Davis Mills, and then just put some junk around you and see how it goes. And we'll bring Lovey in and see if he needs some help, and then Lovey becomes the head coach. But
by default, because they wanted the McNown. They wanted McNown over Lovey.
yeah, they wanted a guy that coached high school football and was a horrible in the NFL, horrible QB in the NFL. And you want him to come out here? Losing will happen until the city sinks in the ocean. I don't know. But you got to look at it from a standpoint. I think the coach that should have been here and Lovey would have stayed as a DC is a coach in Buffalo, the DC coach in Buffalo. If you bring Leslie Frazier here, keep Lovey here as a DC, you have two defensive and an offensive defensive mindset, and you keep Pep Hamilton as an OC, but maybe have Leslie Frazier make some of the calls. If you have an all African American head coaching crew, that would make this team probably like. I mean, I'd say Lovie Smith's doing a great job with what he has, and Pep Hamilton. It's just really that guy that everybody thinks is the MVP. Go ahead.
You got to understand who Houston sports is. You have to X out the Rockets for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
But overall, between the Texans and the Oilers and Astros, they have this certain who they want to run their teams, who they want to represent their teams. That's all been through ever since I've been knowing about Houston sports. And even with the coaching, like I say, Lovey became by default. Like I say, he wouldn't even interview the thought of into the whole to the Coach Flores thing. And they felt like, oh, okay, we have to do something. Okay, Love, you want the job? We'll give you a couple of million till we get all this figured out.
Right. We'll give you some trash money before this gets covered. Yeah.
They didn't do a heavy coaching search. They wanted McNown. I believe I got the name right to be the coach. They had made that decision.
And the thing was, they wanted to tank until they could find the right fit, because McNown would have still been the head coach here, even if they would have tanked. Maybe won 1-16 or whatever, 2-15. But McNown would have still been the head coach here. I think what happened was, in fact, is Caserio saw the fact is the defense really rose to Lovey's occasion, let him be the head coach because of the experience. McNown had none. I mean, head coach.
But you don't think the Flores thing had a thing to do with it?
It had a lot to do with it. I think the former Texan Andre Johnson and former Texan Dwayne Brown, who still has a connect with the McNairs, and here stated that, if you don't hire, it's either if you don't hire Frazier or if you don't hire Smith, there's a problem.
Wouldn't be enemy in that too when they was trying to get the enemy.
Yeah, they were trying to get Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City, but the Chiefs didn't want him to go anywhere because they offered him a lucrative contract. Andy Reid said Eric Bieniemy would be a great head coach somewhere else, but when the Chiefs offer you a big chunk, now he's actually the associate head coach in case something happens to Andy Reid, he steps right in and becomes the head coach of the Chiefs on a equal basis.
I think they need to get rid of those ex-Patriot management team that they have in the front office. Because they trying to run things like the Patriots, they want the Texans to be like New England South, and it's just not going to happen. Because dynasty was what's the word? It was timing, luck, everything. It was a right storm for them to create that dynasty. You're not gonna get lightning in the bottle twice, as they say. So
you're right.
Really,
it's right. It's nuts.
They have to work down here to build it to them if they know how to build it. Because I seen everybody that left the Patriots, they don't do well in other areas. Like Daniel was on his third job. I don't know how he even got his third job. So it's the NFL does
it's crazy. It's crazy. You're listening and watching the Sports Zone right here on the RSN Sports Network on RTV Television, 1-800-337-7171 or 1713-534-4331 in Texas or 415-33-TALK. You can follow us on the Sports Zone 7 on Twitter. What we're going to do is we're going to actually take a small break on this special edition of the Sports Zone. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this as well. And we're going to also talk about Judged by the Bay, or the San Francisco Giants tanking for some reason. Okay. And why you need to know Kiana Martin. We'll let you know why you should know her. All that and more. You're in the zone with the Sports Fan Institute. You're listening to the Sports Zone right here on the RSN Sports Network and RTV Television. This is the RSN Sports Network.
I'm the team mascot, and boy am I running late. But I got lead in my foot and spirit in my fingers. Wow, what a hit. And if you have cut rate car insurance, the cost to cover that might tank your season. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me. Woo!
This is the RSN Sports Network.
Meet a future mom, a first-time mom, and a seasoned pro. This mom is one step closer to their new minivan. Yeah, you'll get used to it. This mom's depositing money with tools on hand. Cha-ching. And this mom, well, she's setting an appointment here so her son can get set up there and start his own financial journey. That's because these moms all have Chase. Smart bankers, convenient tools. One bank with the power of both. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
This is the RSN Sports Network. You're listening and watching the Sports Zone on the RSN Sports Network. Get in and talk now at 1-800-337-7171 or 1-713-534-4231. Now, back to the zone. Well, What do you, we're back on the Sports Zone. 1-800-337-7171, 1713-534-4231. I just don't even know what to say about anything in Houston. You people, I can throw more yards than you're. Never mind. Anyway, 13 to 16 for 76 yards. That's really never mind. It's the sportsman. It's Mr. T. It's oh my goodness, great Davis. MVP. You believe in him. Anyway, let's also well wishes to our he's still our hostess as well. Whenever she wants to come back on, Larissa Manciaz, she's doing a lot better. She's getting ready for her track. I think her first track meet's coming up pretty soon. So best of luck to her in Ohio. Do you want to follow us? The Sports Zone 7 on Twitter. The Sports Zone 7 on Twitter. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Let's just finish talking about the racism and the coaching wheel. I just think, all over the board. I think even if Ron Rivera left and went upstairs into the commander's post, area, here's another first coming out of D.C. Jennifer King would be the head coach of the Commanders. First African American woman or first woman of color to be the head coach of an NFL team.
Yeah.
That would be. But there's not enough of us. And like I said, it's Mike Tomlin said to the fact is he says, I have to look over my shoulder every single day. I have Brian with me, and we're two guys that have to look over our shoulders every day because something could happen. Anything could happen.
Well, I think a lot of these teams are so media and fan driven where they don't believe in the process now. I think they're more like if you like now during the season, everything is week to week. If they lose, they need to be fired. If he win, he's the greatest coach ever. The quarterback,
right. It's just like this dummy you guys got here. I mean, he's dummy you guys got here. He's thrown for 76 yards and 1 interception.
Because they just bring me to my point. Like Josh McDaniels, no matter how inept he is, he continues to get jobs, head coaching jobs.
Okay, they're 0-3. Anyway, I'm sorry. The mob is 0-3. So they're just waiting for him to go 0-7 and say, "Hey, Paisano."
I think if Davis was still there, Al Davis was still there, I think he would have put another black coach in charge of this franchise.
Probably would have, because he had Art Shell back in the 80s, I think.
Yeah. Art Shell, Flores.
Flores had a Hispanic and an African American head coach then. If Al Davis was still around, yes, he would have had that. Let's go to our next one. All right, so my team may win 80 games. I was looking for them to win 80 games anyway. They may be 80.
You said 65.
Well, that's first, but now I don't know. They may win 80. But the possibility loomed that this man is already hit 61 home runs. Now the possibility may loom. I would say loom. Could it be judged by the Bay? There are reports that are stating that for some reason Aaron Judge is going to be looking elsewhere, whether he wins the World Series or he doesn't win the World Series. Doesn't matter. As you know, the 6'7" Judge, who now has broken or tied Roger Maris, is trying to go for 62, has called the Bay Area because he's from the Northern California, he's called this Bay Area team as probably a landing point. Okay.
I mean,
Your thoughts on it, because I know my thoughts on it already.
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, he can go somewhere and be the face of the franchise. With New York, he's with a lot of stars,
Mm.
but he just blend in. Yeah, he get his little fame, but just imagine he go to San Francisco and help turn that team around. He could become a
Okay.
mega star.
Let's see. Brandon Crawford. Let's see.
But who
Brandon
would be the
Belt.
biggest name if he
Oh,
came to
let's
San
see. I don't know. I'm just trying to see what the Giants will give up. Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt. Keep Lamonte Wade. Keep your Stremski. Yeah. I can see that happening.
Francisco? He would be the face of the franchise. He coming over with a name, he's coming over with a big bet, and it'll be Aaron Judge and the San Francisco 49ers every week, on TV or
Oh
wherever.
yeah, yeah. I think if you have Judge, bring us a pitcher that can pitch. Bring us somebody out of the bullpen that can pitch, because that was our weakest point this year. We went from 107 to possibly either 80 or 82, and which I thought probably be like a 66, 65, but because they let so many people go, bring us a pitcher with Judge if he comes out here. He comes our way. Bring us a pitcher.
Well,
Bring us somebody who could.
free agency work. They might get one in free agency. They might find a guy that want to come back to the Bay that's in their prime, a little after, a little before their prime. They want to come,
I would say if San Francisco wanted to do something with that, rob the people that they're playing the last 3 games of the season, the Padres. There's a lot of problems down there. Tatis' situation, Machado doesn't know whether he wants to resign or extend. You have the situation where, if they don't get Judge, they're going to try to go after Soto, maybe possibly trade Belt to San Diego. I don't know. The possibility may loom that they may get Blake Snell from there. I'm not for sure. They may get. I'm not for sure who they'll get. They may get you Darvish from there. I don't know.
Man, it depends on who they have in their farm system, who they can believe in.
Right.
If you get Judge and you say, okay, he can do cleanup or third, what kind of bats can we put around him? We put speed at the top of the order. They're in the National League. So they got 1 through 8 to try to build something around Judge. Do we need people just to get on base so he can knock them in? Average.
You have your Stremski, and if they could pick up, either, you have Yastrzemski and Wade, and if you can pick up Kemp from across the bay in Oakland, that will make the team a lot more where Aaron Judge can actually fit around, and it wouldn't be a collapse or anything like that.
Well, they're saying Carrera is not happy. Go after him.
Right? Cabrera, and I think even another city you might want to look at, the Giants might want to look at. Albert is gone after he hits maybe 7-10. He doesn't want to break records. If he doesn't win the World Series, okay. Well, I can see the Cardinals breaking up as well. Because they want to see King Albert run his one last hurrah. And there are some Goldschmidt's a good find for them. Long is a good find for them. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? Like I said, if they could just win 80 games for me this year, I'm happy with them. I knew they weren't going to go anywhere when they let the people go that they. Well, Speaking of bums, join us tomorrow night. Well, I won't watch, but join us tomorrow night for Monday Night Football on ESPN. You can join the Monday Night Countdown starts as well from Loser Clara tomorrow night as the world champions play whoever they are and Jimmy Garoppolo tomorrow night. It's Monday Night Football. The Los Angeles Rams against whoever tomorrow night. Game starts at Game starts at 7:15, 7:30 Central, 7 o'clock Central, 7:15 Central, 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. All right, got that out of the way. Anyway. Oh boy, let's get you caught up on the scores as well. Let me go through this. Philadelphia has now grabbed the lead against Jacksonville. It's at halftime, 20-14. Trevor Lawrence has been looking real good this season. The Giants still lead the Bears 14-9. Tennessee over in Indianapolis 24-10. King Henry running over people. Baltimore leading Buffalo 20-10. That's at halftime. Cleveland, Atlanta tied at 10. Seattle leading Detroit 24-15. How about leading Washington on field goals 12-7? That's at halftime. At Louisville, it's the Chargers 27, the whoever they are, the 7. Justin Herbert with a touchdown pass. Austin Eckler with 2 touchdowns for the Chargers as well. Later on today, Denver Russ visits Vegas to play the Raiders. Later on tonight, later on this afternoon, also Arizona at Carolina, New England at Green Bay. That should be an interesting one. The one that everybody's going to watch tonight is going to be the old guard versus the new guard. Patrick Mahomes against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers tonight. They will be able to play the game at Raymond James Stadium, even though Hurricane Ian was not really a direct hit on their area, so they will be playing at Raymond James Stadium tonight. All right, let's go to our next one. You probably have seen her, or I've seen her a lot on the sidelines, and I want you to get to know because Buster Posey is about to do something special. Probably know Buster Posey is now going to be the management. He's retired Giant, famous Giant, now retired. Now he's now the manager, one of the on the management team in upper management with the Giants. Why should you get to know this young lady who used to be with the 49ers? Kiana Martin, former track athlete at San Luis Obispo and a California native who actually feels still part of the 49er, I guess, brass. Martin left the 49ers and is now a hostess on the MLB network. Martin could return to the Bay in a giant way. There's a possibility loom that you might be seeing this young lady in upstairs as the first ever woman of color to be in the management team with the Giants. Your thoughts?
I mean, that's a good deal. I mean, we've been seeing in the last 4 or 5 months the wave of women, especially women of color, black women, that's getting great jobs. So I think that's a trend that's trending upward. It's going to be more and more in all these various sports. So, I'm pulling for not only her, but for the ones that behind her that she's showing that, hey, I can get it done in the corporate world, in the corporate sports world as well. So, I'm happy for her and continued success.
If she can come in, I would applaud it. I mean, don't let the I told any guy, I said, don't let the beauty fool you. She was a great track runner at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and she was fast. She's an athlete. She was a total athlete. Great commentary. Did great commentary for the 49ers as well on the NBC Bay Area with the guys. Ricky Waters and the rest of them. And I'll be surprised if she turns. As long as you can get us 107 wins, get us away from losing. 'Cause I know it's going to happen with Garoppolo and them this year. That would be great.
You just don't believe in them.
No, I know the losers.
You're the only one. Like I say, I see people picking them to get 10 wins, 11 wins. And
now I'm going to give them 3.
They're halfway there already. So.
Right, 1. Yeah, right.
You can't do
Boston, halfway.
You can't do 1.5. So at 1, they halfway there.
1. Yeah, that's all I got. 1. Don't forget, Street Mental is next with Brianna Henderson, and we still are looking for a female hostess for the Sports Zone. Email us at rebirthmedianetworks@gmail.com. Possibly may loom that we were trying to drag on the lady from Channel 2, and we're still trying to get her to come up the show. If not, we do have an ex-athlete who is a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, so we can't really say much with her. If Sabria Rayford cannot make it from KPRC Channel 2, we have a backup. We are going after Erica Simon from KTRK TV in Houston. She's a former athlete. She was a state, all-state athlete or all-district athlete at Duncanville High School in Dallas, and she played softball. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have her on. It'd be nice to have her on. All right. Zone Takes brought to you by Ticket Spicket. Ticket Spicket is actually the official ticket master or ticket place where you can get Purple Rain tickets on Ticket Spicket. Ticket Spicket, big events, little effort. All right. Hi. Where can we start? You can just overtake it. Take as much time. Don't take 3 hours. Don't take 3 hours. We only got 5 minutes left. No.
Well, I just take a half a minute and
about half, and let Davis Mills take the other 3.
I mean, my thing was with the tour thing. The tour. This is a situation where all these athletes need good people around them. I don't know if the mom should have ran to the stands and pulled a baby to her and said, "Hey, he's not playing no more." I'm talking about the Sunday game. He was staggering around, trying to find his bearings, walking off. Right then and there, a representative from the NFLPA should have stepped in and said he's not playing no more. But somebody should have came and got him and took his helmet or whatever it was so he couldn't get back down the field. Even some of his teammates should have came out and said, "No, he can't play anymore." And I understand he's as competitive as anybody, like all athletes are at that level. But I think we need to, even as fans, start looking at these players as people and their long-term health. So, all these teams have to do a better job of protecting the players. If we want good brand football, we want to see our favorite athlete out there, we have to start protecting them. There's no reason why he should be in protocol right now. From Thursday, he could have been in protocol from Sunday. So I think my take is that we take care of these athletes, and that's just not the NFL level, at the lower levels as well. If he's not able to play, or we see that he's not able to play, we're not going to leave it up to him. We're going to take him off and let him sit for a while. So that's my little rant.
My thing is that what we discussed today has been pretty much on the strength of the NFL. The NFL is not really, they've not, or supposedly, we have seen they have actually done a lot for diversity, for women, and bringing them up there into upper management, upper echelon as well. But they have not done anything for coaches of color, many of them, to be represented. 3, maybe possibly 4, may not get the job done for 32 teams. Can you easily shed this across the board? And can the possibility may loom that if you do have a concussion protocol, hire doctors that do care about athletes, because this situation doesn't really compound itself when you have a guy that staggers and falls down the week before, and he falls down again, and he gets a second concussion. Miami, Serena, Venus, and whoever's on that board down there, you guys are going to have to look for another doctor. And make sure this doctor is within the team. And make sure that they can thoroughly look at Tua, because right now he's a young man that thinks he's Superman. But when he gets older, he may be somewhere like Junior Seau was. That's my take. That's going to do it. Rihanna Henderson is up next with the Street Mental. Hopefully we have a new version of it. And join us on the flip side again for after Davis Mills throws 4 interceptions, and the Chargers win by 40-0, 40-7 or whatever. Join us again for Street and Sports. Hopefully we have Rihanna Henderson with us as well later on this afternoon. That's going to do it for our version of the Sports Zone. For Larissa Manciaz, for Marcus Mr. T. Turner, I'm yours truly, Sports Vet Michael Lewis. Thank you very much for joining us for the Sports Zone. The beautiful and talented Rihanna Henderson with the Street Mentor is next. You've been listening and watching the Sports Zone right here on the RSN Sports Network and RTV television. This is the RSN Sports Network.